What is up, everybody? It's a beautiful, gorgeous day in British Columbia, and I assume a beautiful, glorious day in Maine. Although
It
you're
actually is. We're past the heat wave here, and it's under. It's only like 67 degrees, which is ideal and sunny. So
that's really hot, man. Like, I mean, 40 is really hot, but 67. Oh, you're in the one country in the world that doesn't know how to calculate temperature
that's
correctly.
with the F in it, there, my friend.
Mm,
Yes.
yes. I was born in that country. Seems strange now that I've left it, but
It
not
is
the whole
strange.
country. Not the whole country, just well, there's a whole argument to be made about that, but there's strange people everywhere in the world. Just the temperature thing. But yeah, super excited to be here for another episode of Outwired. Today we're going to talk about food, retail, all that kind of crazy stuff. Got my little ChatGPT agent doing some research here. We got shout out to like Phillips Brewing and Malting Company, which is where is Phillips? Somewhere around here. I feel like I should know this. Victoria, British Columbia, with their Solaris Summer Wheat Ale that's helping me enjoy my real background. I feel like most people don't believe that's real. It's real. What are you drinking today, Scott?
I have a Dogfish Head.
That's a good one.
Dogfish Head. Oops, I keep going the wrong way. Stupid mirrored thing. It is a juicy. It's a Grateful Dead juicy pale ale.
Nice. Yeah, the mirror thing, like I don't blame you. Like there was my best experience with that, totally off kilter and related, as we always do when we start the show, is like scanning my passport on my desktop to like do the flight check-in in advance. Like they want you to scan your passport, and it's always backward on the webcam, and so I'm like trying to line it up with the little box that's inside the webcam. I'm like every time I want to move it a certain way, it goes the opposite way.
Yep.
My brain cannot figure it out. Like I just can't. So I'm trying to train my brain. Like have you ever played that game, app Luminosity?
I've heard. I've never played it. Yeah.
It's on your phone. It has like a bunch of different brain challenges, like to get your brain smarter for like words and math and stuff like that. And there's one I was playing yesterday where you had to like help a penguin get to the fish through a maze, but like the maze would rotate, and so like the up down things on your keyboard or your like for your phone would like also rotate, and so like up was down and left was right, and like it kept rotating throughout the thing, and you had to like critically think, and I was not good at thinking.
It does make your brain make some shifting that you may not always like.
All right. Before we get to our food and retail discussion, what happened in your week this week?
Let's see. You know what? One thing it's like totally random, but I just happened to see someone talk the other day. We have here in Maine, we have a lot of goldenrod. You know, kind of the roadside. It's a wildflower. Gets a bad reputation. Everybody thinks it causes allergies, but it really doesn't, because it just comes out at the same time as ragweed. Ragweed is actually the big. But anyway, is that some people are talking about making tea from it. It's supposed to be like really like good for you, and like a good replacement for green tea if you're into tea. I kind of like teas.
Is it true? Did you ChatGPT it?
I did, and so we grabbed just a bunch of goldenrod, the flowers and leaves, and threw them in a bag, brought them home and made tea, and it was exceptional. It was really smooth. It doesn't have the acidity like you get sometimes from other types of teas, and it was put a little honey in there. It was anyway. We have.
And do we know the health benefits of it? Because we're obviously doctors on the show.
It's supposed to help with. It's funny when you do the search on it, one of the first things that comes up is helps with urinary tract infections, but it's also good for helping people that have congestion, breathing issues, allergies, which is me. And so it's
So
kind
our
of like,
asterisks hold on this statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration and have not been chosen to prove or prevent or treat any disease or whatever everything says that's natural. Sorry, go ahead.
I said supposed.
Yeah,
Supposed.
I just wanted to make sure. I don't want to get
Yeah.
us sued, right?
Read the small print. Yes. But anyway, it's a great tea. Super simple. You literally just grab a handful of these flowers and leaves, throw them in a jar, put some boiling water on, or make sun tea out of it, and it's really quite. And I guess to bring it up because it's kind of like here, like I can look out the window and see it growing. It's literally growing everywhere here right now, and it's a product that's again good for you, apparently, maybe, and
Possibly.
and it's right there.
Doesn't kill you. Doesn't kill you. That part is actually scientifically verified. As
That
long as
that
your
we
name is
know.
Scott Barr. Not that we're recommending it for you, but if you're Scott Barr, he's alive. We have a case study.
And the other thing I wanted to do with my taking responsibility for the whole data part of the things, I want to do every week, bring up something about data, and I'm going to try to keep them brief. This one, last week I talked about, what does, like when you look at a figure, a value, what does it mean? And we talked about that a bit last week. So, but this week I just wanted to mention the idea of when you're comparing two numbers, like what's a meaningful difference between the two? And
Okay.
so, because a lot of times you'll be presented with a comparison. Say X% of men say this, and X% of women say this. Well, there's probably a difference there or not, but let's just say there is a difference. What does it mean? Is it meaningful? And here's the basic summary I'll give that in looking at data, because one of the things I want to do with this is just give people some guidance at how to look at information, is if it's objective data, which is things like, say, for example, that's how many guests you have at your campground, or your occupancy rates and all that information that is objective. It's not opinion. It's not asked of someone. It's something that you gather objectively.
What you know versus what you think you know.
Right. So in this case, if you said that X%, say 52% of men prefer to have bacon with breakfast, but only 48% of women. And you know this because you've documented that at your restaurant or at your campground.
Right.
That difference is meaningful because it's observable, it's objective, you know the answer. So you can say with a certain degree of confidence that more men than women like bacon with breakfast. That's pretty simplistic example, but you get what I'm saying. Or it's taking any kind of data set where the information is not asked, it is either observed or just gathered. So
okay, hold on. I want to throw a corkscrew into everything that you're just saying.
Okay.
Because I feel like, one, you're right, and I want you have to finish your thoughts explanation because this is fascinating, right? But two, there is as we've talked about many times on the show before, it depends on who you are and what you're studying and how you're going to spend the data and how you're going to look at it from one perspective versus another, and with your biases and what because everybody has bias, right? And what you've been through in your life and how, like, whether you're the campground owner or the guest or the marketing agency who's presenting the study or the consultant who's doing it for, right? There's different lenses that you're still viewing all this stuff through it, because even if it's objective, and I think I'm clear on the difference between what you're saying between objective and survey, they can say anything, right?
Right.
Like, but you still, even if it's objective, you sort of know, but you don't really know because unless you've tracked the trend over time, because then it could be related to the cost of your bacon too, right? Or
Sure.
maybe the certain amount of men are with girlfriends who they're trying to impress by eating healthier versus wives where they don't care if they eat a bunch of bacon, or right?
Sure. And in what you're the example you're giving is what we call covariates. That is, what are the other factors that are present or absent that impact this? You'll see this referred to in a lot of studies, say from the CDC, and other organizations that gather tons and tons of data, and or they'll, like, for example, medical outcomes. They'll say, that when they do their testing, it's like, what's the outcome? But it could be unfair because maybe one person has all these other illnesses or something like that that contribute to it. So yes, and in this case, it could be the price. It could be, that there's something particular to your region. There's a lot. Yes, absolutely. All those things come into play.
They're shitty bacon.
Or it is shitty bacon. Yeah. Social pressures. There's a ton of ways to look at it, but the bottom line is, and in the example I gave, that's, even though you could say that men eat more bacon than women, it's not that big, and so that's just kind of where our brains come in. You're like, yeah, they do, but it's not that great of a difference. So I'm not going to hang my hat on any kind of major effort in promoting more bacon to men than women, because it's not big enough for me to really get into. Now, if it was like, 70% of men and 15% of women, then be like, yeah, you can really do something with that. That's a big difference. So you kind of have to, there's some subjective stuff that comes into this stuff, and you kind of have to, think your way through it. But in objective measures, the differences can be smaller to be meaningful versus kind of, subjective or opinion-based information, which we do a ton of in surveys. And as most people have probably heard, there's a thing we call margin of error. And in any study we do, we assume a margin of error. And that just simply means that if you did the study again, you might expect the results to differ by a certain number of percentage points. It could be 3, 2.5, or 5, sometimes even more, but typically not. We typically try to avoid anything that gets outside of like 3. So when you're looking at a result and there's a difference, you have to take that into account. Like, there's a margin of error there. Your differences are not quite as meaningful. They need to be a little bit larger in order to make assumptions from them. And again, you also have to just think about how, with people's attitudes, the things that can influence that. There's a lot that can. Like you were talking about earlier, Brian, just the whole idea of different factors. When I was in grad school, we showed how the mood someone was in when they were answering a questionnaire impacted the results they gave. So there's stuff like that comes into play. I'm not saying to discount it, because I'd be saying don't pay attention to anything I do. But what I'm saying is that the objective stuff is typically a little bit better. Well, anyone in my industry who knows anything will say the same thing. Believe me, find any researcher out there. But the opinion stuff, you have to have a bigger difference. And I would say the rule of thumb is, if it's a survey and it's not if it's within, I'm going to say 7 percentage points, I would be wary of saying that's a major difference. Anything, I'm fairly conservative about it. I typically don't really talk about stuff too much unless it's like 10 points. Because I feel a lot better about it. And when you're out there and having to defend your point of view, or you're making a decision, even more important than defending your point of view is making a decision based on data, that keep that in mind, that you want that difference to be bigger. And if it's less, you might want to reconsider, or maybe you want to find some different sources or dig into it further. So that's my data moment for the day.
I mean, it is something that so many people don't think about, right? And I think it's fascinating to me as I go through, like, what I would consider my, like, ongoing, never-ending quest to learn new things, right? As I go through things that I think that are common sense to most people, that aren't common sense, that maybe, and that doesn't mean that, I guess maybe common sense is the wrong word. Common knowledge to people, or common things that you think that most people would think about and extrapolate and go to and question. They don't. And that's, I think, partially a consequence of not knowing or not understanding or not being a statistical data geek, but also not having the time or patience or know-how or will or whatever, right? To dive into the, because you see all this all the time. So many groups in our industry release reports, and maybe they're true, maybe they're not. I mean, I'm sure they're true in that data sense of whatever, but maybe what lens are they being viewed through and blah, 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 right? And the question becomes like, you're like, so many people I know take the data and just use it at face value and extrapolate it right onto their park. And it doesn't work like that. Even with great surveys that are done, like KOA's North American Camping Report, they're accurate for the group that was studied, for the KOA ecosystem, for the camping ecosystem, whatever with the data point was being pulled from. But that doesn't mean you can copy paste onto your park, right?
Correct. You can use it as a foundation, but don't put too much precision on those results. And I do that survey. So I'm like, yeah, use it to understand what the broader market is. It's kind of looking at, we've talked a lot about consumer sentiment and stuff like that, where these broader market trends that may or may not impact you. It could be, sometimes they can and sometimes they don't. But it's good to have that understanding in the broader perspective, but don't just grab it and apply it to your situation. Just like you wouldn't say just because consumer sentiment is down or the travel confidence index is down that your business is going to suffer.
Here's what we need, Toby, if you're watching the show, which you're not probably, because you're busy. Toby, like the next North American Camping Report, when's this come out? March? When's the next North American Camping Report?
Next March, yeah.
Okay. Plenty of time, right? I don't even know what AI is going to look like in March of next year. We need like an AI agent where when the report comes out, like the owners can just literally like gate it, right? Like honestly, you could just gate it, right? Here's the North American Camping Report. Here's a couple things. It's free, but just give us your name, your email, your park name, whatever else, the location of your park, whatever, like people would fill that out, right? If they really want to read the data, I think.
Yep.
And then just have the whole damn thing be like a custom PDF to them. Like here's the data for the property, or data we studied, like X number of people are going glamping this year versus last year, whatever. I'm just making up a number, right? But then here's a custom personalized section that we've dynamically inserted in here that AI has generated based on the location and name of your park that says macro, micro takeaways for your park. That would be wicked, wouldn't it?
It'd be really cool. Yeah.
I think it's doable. I don't know if you could edit the PDF in real time to do that. I mean, I'm sure you could. It might be like too much. But for sure, you could like follow up with emails or something like that.
Sure, if someone's willing to wait, I think they would be if you gave them that kind of content.
I just got a notification that says my crypto wallet has been accessed from Italy. I feel like it's a spam text, but for sure that was a good one. For sure that was a good one. You get those too, don't you? Get those spam texts?
Oh yeah.
You're like, hey, I haven't talked to you since dinner on last Wednesday. Who are you? I don't have your number in my phone. There's no conversation history with you. Like,
I know. I get them those quite a bit. It's like why are you being so rude to me?
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, how do we have these conversations with people though? Because like I feel like there are so much data points and so much information being put into the world, and they're all shaped through the lens of somebody who wants to not necessarily do anything nefarious. In most cases, they're just trying to help or be useful or provide a study or sponsor research or whatever else. But there is a greater, larger story behind all this, right? There's a greater, larger story of not just what this data tells, but how does it impact my park? And I don't know, like, maybe we can never get to that point. It's like like ChatGPT. I was reading, we talked about GPT-5, I think, last week.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if I said this on the show. Maybe I learned it afterward. But I was reading about all the people complaining about GPT-5. And I think it was after the show. I think it was the day after, because I think I remembered like wishing I could have mentioned it. And they did a study and showed like the GPT-5 that they released auto switched between the non-thinking, like just the answer, and then the thinking that would make it wait like 30 seconds or a minute or more to answer the question. And that's what everybody was complaining about. They didn't want to wait for their answer. Like that's what most people were complaining about. And so they had some statistics that Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, gave on a podcast, and he said of all the users that we studied, of the 700 million users that use ChatGPT, let's assume that there's like 650 million of them that are free users, right? I don't know, it's a high number.
Mhm.
Of all those people that just use it for free and haven't paid for anything, only 1% prior to the launch of GPT-5 had ever used a thinking model.
Mm.
And of the people who have paid for it, $20 a month or more, only 7% have ever used, not regularly, have ever touched a thinking model before. And so the gap between like, I barely have time to study this or know about AI or know about this, about like people run around like chickens with their heads cut off. So do I, right? So how do we make sure that the things that are important to them that they're making decisions on for their business, especially for their business, are, I don't know, like how do we communicate that like this isn't something that you should press fast forward on?
Boy.
Or is it not possible? Maybe it's not possible.
I think reaching the broader audience is not it's not easy. It's not easy. It's always going to be that you're always going to have that limited reach.
I
With
think the
any,
way is that I think the way has to be that personalization. I think it has to be because, and I say this because like I've like it's the only way it works for my brain too. And I'm not saying that I'm like everybody else or different than everybody else. Like I don't know what the percentage is, but it's the only way it works for me. Like I've taught my to the frustration of myself. You were talking about the flowers, right? That grow that you were growing the tea out of or whatever, making the tea out of. There's a plant here that I can't remember the name. I tried to identify it. It's like is by the ground and looks like it's blueberries, but they're tinier and I don't know what they are. And so I tried to pull out ChatGPT and put on the video mode, and I was asking it like, what is this type of plant? And I've put in my ChatGPT like think from first principles, always use the Socratic method, never lie to me, never bullshit me, whatever. And so the voice is so much more terrible. And like I don't know if it's terrible or it follows that guideline way more strictly than actual ChatGPT does. And it refused to tell me what the plant was. I asked that thing like 10 times. It was like, I think it's probably something from this species, but I've got to be honest with you. I have no idea. And I don't know. Shut up and just tell me what you think the plant is. It wouldn't do it. So like, but those kinds of things, right? Where I don't even think about those next logical steps sometimes, unless I'm implicitly telling it like use the Socratic method. What are the follow-up questions? What are the things I want to consider? How do I think from first principles? How do I whatever? Because I'm a busy guy too, just like we all are. So I don't know. I think the only way that you get to that point in the future is something like we're talking about, like a North American camping report or a data set that when you open it, and it will get to that point, like it for sure is going there very quick to where everything you read is personalized to you. And I think that's great. But like, hey, look, you open a data set, you see this headline, and then like, whoa, stop before you do anything. Just want you to know that in your area of the country, it was actually down by 1 percentage point and not up 8% like it was in the rest of the country. But that's maybe a good or bad thing or whatever, right? I think that's the only way you do it. Is you're talking about it's hard to reach the mass people. I agree with you. The only way you do it is one-to-one, and the one-to-one at scale is and that's what really excites me about the future. I know we're getting crazy off into 10,000 different directions like we always do, but that's what excites me about the future of like even when you look at things like politics. Everybody says like, well, my voice isn't heard. My congressman isn't listening to me. They're not hearing my opinion. That's true because they have like 1 million to 12 million to 50 million people that they've all got to listen to. And your voice is important, but like there's no possible way they can listen to every one of those. But there is a possible way that AI can listen to every one of those. So AI can really then make your voice truly heard and disseminate in facts, figures, charts, graphs, whatever else, the actual opinion of the populace, of the politician who's trying to decide what to vote for or what not to vote for, what push or not to push, right? So I don't know. Anyway, I'll shut up now about that direction. But I think that's the only way you do it. Do you agree? Because it's important.
Right. Because other than that, Um, it's interesting to be in the time we're in right now, because it wasn't that long ago that in our industry there were like no reports. There wasn't really
Yeah.
that much data at all. When we first started doing this in 2014, yeah, we had done some preliminary stuff in the years before, but I just recall Jim Rogers saying that it's like we don't even know how many people are out there camping. We don't even know. It's like, because no one's ever really asked the question. Well, now we kind of know. I mean, obviously within margin of error, but we know generally how many people are camping every year. We know what they're camping in. We know, and there are other people putting out reports and putting out information that was never there before. And every year it increases the number who are doing that. So now we're in the era where people are starting to realize that they have to sort through that. And again, the most important point which you brought up already, is that how does that apply to me? And I think that part of the decision making, is what we need to help people with the most, as purveyors of information and data. It's like, how do we do that? And the best way you can do it is make it apply to them directly. So yeah, that's a long way of saying, this is what needs to happen. It needs to be that. I remember back in the day, they always talked about your marketing to an audience of one, and it's like we literally are. We are literally doing that now. So,
and until today, you just didn't have the tools to actually literally do that, but now you do.
Now we do. Yep.
Mm-hmm. It's the future of websites. Like we'll build these for clients. One-to-one website. The same way Google search is personalized for you now. You think it's not. It's the same way your Instagram feed is. This is a fascinating thing, by the way. I'm not like a big person on social media, but at Instagram, if you go on your Instagram app, there's a setting where you can reset your algorithm feed. But like if you open your Instagram feed and then you go to like your best friend who likes the same football team and like has the same kind of interests, and you open their Instagram feed, like totally different. You guys are seeing completely different views and perspectives of the entire world, and you're living in your own little world already. You're in your own little bubble. It's just like, unless you're implicitly going and seeking out the news in some different areas or different, like news is one example, but information, statistics, whatever else, like you're missing, and the algorithms have you here. That's where they have you, and that's where you want to be. That's where your brain wants to go, is your interests and the things that excite. Like my feed is all AI. I don't want to. Is there even a world that doesn't exist that's not AI and camping and mountains and lakes? I don't know. Probably not. At least not according to my feed, and that goes to my Google News feed and everything else, right?
Yep.
But I go implicitly try to find that stuff. I don't know if you use this. Shout out to somebody who should sponsor the show, but Ground News. You ever heard of that?
What was that again?
Ground News.
I have not heard of that.
Floor Ground. It's an app on your phone or a website. I don't think you have to pay for it. I think you can donate to it, but it's a really interesting news app that you can go read, and it doesn't write stories that aggregate stories, but they aggregate them from all over the world, and then they will show you where has the news story appeared more on right or left or neutral sites, and then what's the blind spot for you, and here's something you may not have seen because it didn't appear in the things that you normally read, and it's really interesting. So I find things through there all the time that I never, ever, ever would have read about had I not used that app. But yeah, we're all lacking time. The question is how do we spend that? And I'm really interested in the dynamic personalization of this feature. All right, do we want to talk about food and retail or anything else?
What came across your desk this week?
Came across my desk this week.
I mean, other than like floating in the lake or whatever.
I haven't done as much of that as I should, honestly. Like I did go. I have a paddleboard that converts into a kayak, and so I typically will, instead of stand-up paddleboarding, I'll do like kayaking, because like I get enough work on the cycle, like from my legs, like on a stationary cycle in my house. That's how I typically exercise. So until I just got a strength training machine, but until before then, I wasn't really like working out my upper body at all as much as I should. So I typically will kayak on that versus anything else. but I haven't done that as much as I should. I haven't even been swimming in the lake yet. It's been kind of cold. The water has. But
Oh,
is the water cold, Krista? Is the water cold? The lake water? No, she said it's not cold, so I have no excuse. I should have been in the lake.
well, can you trust her on that?
She was just in it. So,
Okay.
yeah, I feel like I have to. It's not I don't know if it's an objective data point. It probably is because I saw her in the water and she wasn't shivering. It's objective, right?
It's subjective. It's different levels of tolerance.
Could be true. Yeah, I don't know what else came across my desk though this week. Like sometimes it feels like a blur. But so let's just go into retail and food.
All right.
I'll come prepared for that question next week. All right, so let's see. I've got GPT pulled up, and I want to set the stage for what we published on this show that we were going to talk about was food and retail, and so the actual literal social media thing that we put out was food and retail reinvented, serve faster, carry less, delight more. On this week's Outwired, we're road testing the playbook, ghost kitchens that pop during peak hours, drone drops that beat cart lines, cashierless stores with zero checkout friction, vertical farm greens harvested on sites, meal kits built for smart fire rings, and on-demand merch printing that ships or prints before checkout. We'll map CapEx, health code reality, insurance, and the guest experience upside so you know what to pilot next weekend versus what to budget next quarter. And then can drones beat golf carts and guest delights? What's the shrink rate in camera-only store? Do guests trust it? Menu engineering, peak hour logistics, and add-on conversion targets turn s'mores, salads, and swag into real margin without bloating inventory.
All right. So can I offer up just as a backdrop to this, just some information on guests and food?
Yes. Do we know for sure objectively that all guests eat food?
We do know that.
Okay.
That they do. So just, this is, hopefully this isn't too dry for everyone, but I think as a campground owner, this is really good information to just kind of know about your guests in general. Again, it doesn't apply to everyone individually. This is broad-based stuff, but first, most people when they arrive at your campground have not planned their meals. So over 2/3, 68% of the people do not plan all their meals before arriving. So that means, that's a lot. So only 1/3 of the people are coming to your campground with a plan of how they're going to eat. The most people, when how they cook, how they prepare their food, a lot of them, or how they would like to, is about over 60% do or would like to cook over an open fire. That's again that campground experience. Even among RVers, just so you know, 61% cook over an open fire at least part of the time. Again, these are things, and I'm doing this as the backdrop to what we're going to talk about here in a moment. But just again,
cook and cook well are different, right?
Correct, absolutely. How many people actually leave the campground to for meals to dine out? Want to guess, Brian?
70%.
Well, you know what? It's pretty close. It's 68%. So you're damn close. 68% of the people leave the campground to eat at least some of their meals. That's what we call opportunity right there.
I bet you 20% more of that leave the campground to go grocery shopping and come back.
Correct. Absolutely. Especially when you go back to the idea that most of the people are not planning out all their meals before they get there. There's like close to 20% of the people are winging it when they get there. So, these are people who have made zero plans for their meals. It's so what you're looking at is a lot of people just arriving, and they're going to let the mood determine what they do with food, what they prepare, how they're
eating. They have plans, right? Like even if and you can tell me to shut up if I'm wrong, but even if they have plans, So they could come to your property with a fully stocked RV kitchen, and you could still change their mind. We were talking about this with a client, like it's sort of unrelated. Well, I guess beer's food, right? Beer
We
counts as
included on the
food.
list. Yes,
Yeah,
there's a sandwich in every beer.
yeah. So, but like we were talking about this for the client who has a bar at their campground in the last week or so, and we were talking about how like even if they have planned, like it was the context was college football games and getting people to stay during the college football weekends and stuff like that. Those people drink a lot of beer, right? And the context was is well, like even if they go to the store and they want to buy beer, they want to save money. If you can get them to your bar and there's a place to sit down and you give them a free drink or a discounted drink, they're sitting at their bar. They're not going to be like, that was a good drink. Now I'm going to get up and leave my table and go back to my RV and drink there. They're just going to order another beer,
Right.
probably. So like get them like you can change the mindset of this guest to what they've maybe probably as you just said not even planned. But if they have planned it or thought about it or are planning to go to the grocery store, you can interrupt that planning and offer something better, especially if you're talking to them at check-in or communicating them pre-arrival or whatever else.
Absolutely. Yeah. This is I've talked about this at length for years. I swear this whole idea that the food is such an opportunity for campgrounds to just offer something some opportunity. There's another stat here I kind of like. I mean, I don't know how applicable it is to what we're going to be talking about, but about 70% of all campers have a single person who's responsible for the food decisions.
Okay.
So, but over half, 54%, have group meal prep and decision making. So, again, you have one person, yeah, who's going to make most of the decisions overall, but then it's a group effort when you're preparing the food. So, I think that when you again, I'm doing this to kind of establish a mindset that these are all opportunities. If you think about a family arriving, they want to do open fire cooking, maybe they have some kids with them and they want them to participate in it. Here's your opportunity to show them, provide them the food, or as Brian's going to talk about, these different innovative ways of
Am I going to do that? Oh, that was my part. I forgot to do that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, hey, it was great talking to everybody today. Come see us next week on Outwired.
Yeah, you're not like it's really. I want to talk about this first. I think I want to talk about. I can hear in my head the conversations that I've had with clients and the people who are listening to us, who it's hard. It's hard to get a liquor license. It's hard to get a food license. I have to get permitted. I have to then have all these standards and have things regularly cleaned and make sure there aren't rats in the kitchen and not obviously well not easy, but like a given. It's and then once I finally get this up, all I keep hearing is restaurants are low margin businesses. How do I change that? Do you have any idea, David?
How did you?
What do I say to those owners? You say like, listen, it's all well and good. You guys are about to talk about all these cool things like maybe drones and robots and like what's possible now and what I can do with food and retail at my campground, like both already and then today and in the future. But like I'm still like I've looked at that in the past and like it costs money to build a building and then I got to do this and I got to pay attention to health code and hire extra staff and then figure out what the menu is and then rotate it and then cook it all well and make sure it's good and on and on and on and on. It's not worth the effort.
I would say that you need to sit down and consider what it is you would you could offer. Like what fits your brand there. Is it, kind of on-site, meal packages or so on that you bring over, bring a box of food to someone? Or are you going to do demonstrations? Or is it going to be full meal service? And if so, maybe there's opportunities for partnerships. Tons of campgrounds are, bringing in outside resources to do that. And so that now you're not having to worry about that if you bring a food truck in. Or or some other outside resource. Maybe you have the facilities on site and someone else does it. I think there's ways around it. Yeah, logistically, it's probably not going to be that easy to do, but it doesn't mean that you should just dismiss the idea outright without really exploring how it might work at your location.
What do you think the average amount of profit, let's call it 100 to 150 site campground, could make if they offered some kind of food service? Because I have heard the thing, and I think that it's fairly accurate across the board, that restaurants, generally speaking, are kind of low margin, right? Is that fair?
Correct. On food.
On food, yes. That's what I was about to get to, because I heard about, like, because we read about during COVID that, like, when the state stopped the alcohol, like, they would allow delivery, like, of some of the food, and then they wouldn't allow delivery of the alcohol. And so, like, the restaurants were really being murdered because alcohol, like, is a big, huge profit center for them versus the food. So how do I balance that at a property, right?
Right. I mean, that to me is where an opportunity lies is the beverages. Even soft drinks are highly profitable. I mean, when you buy Coca-Cola at McDonald's or Burger King, for $3, it costs them like a nickel to provide that. So it's by the way, when I was in college, I bartended, and on Thursday nights we had 50-cent 23-ounce drafts, and it was like Budweiser in a keg, not a sponsor, but I did the math on it, and we were actually making money at 50 cents a 23-ounce draft. We were still making money off it. Because everybody's like, how do you do this? You got to be losing tons of money. It's like, well, actually, we're not. Because it's like we still made money on it. Anyway, alcohol has high margins. So do soft drinks, honestly, more so than other types of beverages like juices and stuff like that. So those things can help make up some of that lost ground, maybe on the food. The food again, I think one of the keys would be to keep it simple. Figure out how to make your margins in other ways through add-ons, through value-added options, upsells. Sell.
But that's not always the answer, right? Like I think for most campgrounds it probably is. I think you're right. But I think just as we've talked about on the show before, and we've talked about on MC Fireside Chats, there's something to be said for experiences, something that sets you apart. And I think it all depends partly on what your goal is. So is my goal just to feed my campers the bare minimum so they don't go out, so they have something? I'll equate this to like we went on a recent rail trip and we went from Edmonton to Winnipeg and then Winnipeg to Churchill. It was like 36 hours, right? But it was 20-ish hours from Edmonton to Winnipeg. And we were on a via rail train that had a full dining car. And so you went in and ate and everything else. And like 2 hours before we departed on the 48-hour train ride from Winnipeg to Churchill, because it's slower, like zigzagging, whatever else, we find out that the train to Churchill, that's 48 hours, does not have a dining car. They took it away during COVID. So we're about to get on this train in like less than 2 hours for 48 hours and have no food plan. Like there is a snack car there, right? But that's so this is what I mean. This is the difference, right? So there was a snack car. Like we ended up going to the grocery store and getting protein bars and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like a regular intermittent faster, so I'm not worried with my girlfriend. And so we figured it out. But then we got on there and there was a snack car. And so they had like some fresh fruit and like some pretty good, I don't know if you call them healthy, but like microwavable pizza sub things or whatever else. And didn't taste the world's best. But like, so that's what you have to decide, right? Who am I serving first? And who is my audience? This all goes back to like, what is your audience and what is your brand? Where am I starting from? Who are the people that are camping with me? Are they mostly in RVs and do they have their own kitchens? Are they in cabins or glamping units? Are they in cabins and glamping units that have kitchens? Do they want to cook in those kitchens? Do they use them regularly? Which would be good data to have, by the way. I think that would be actually really good data to have.
52% of our RVers cook outside at least some of the time.
Yeah, but it would be good data for the cabin to know how many people in the deluxe cabins are actually using the kitchen facilities.
Oh,
More
absolutely.
so than yeah. So anyway, back to my so understand your brand, understand the audience, not only who the RVers are and whether they have their own kitchen, but who the cabin rentals, glamping people are, and then what is in the area? Are you 5 minutes away from a downtown area with all kinds of little local shops and cheese places and restaurants? Are you around the corner from a big plaza with a McDonald's and a Burger King and whatever else? Are you in the middle of nowhere, which lends it to like maybe I can do even better than food service? But either way, then, like, what type of experience are you trying to provide? Are you trying to just be a place like a snack car and a train that's 48 hours to Churchill to make sure that people don't starve to death in your train? Or are you trying to provide something that really is a step above that everybody's going to be like, I'm going to this campground all the time because, oh my God, food was amazing. It was really delicious, or it was really unique, or the dessert was great, or the appetizer was amazing, or the chef was came out and greeted me, or whatever else, right? Where do you want to be in that category? And I think most parks are not going to be in the step above, because if you're in the step above, then you also have an additional market too, depending on where you are. If you're the step above, you're probably that because either you have a passion for culinary or food, or you have a lot of competition in the area that you need to stand out against, right? Uh, and so if you're one of those people, or you want to attract the general public, and you're in a like you're near a significant enough population size to support a restaurant, like a full service restaurant of that type. Um, and then you need to decide like what I want to do. So I think for most campgrounds, it's going to be the basics, but even the basics still has to be, you have to elevate yourself a little bit. Like selling Hunt Brothers pizza. Yeah, you'll sell a lot of Hunt Brothers pizza for sure. And those are really good margins. But like I don't know, you could probably sell more pizza or more, I don't know, add-ons, or if you were like if you have a pizza Hut down the street or a Domino's, like I don't know whether Hunt Brothers or Pizza Hut or not, like they're both kind of what I would consider generic pizzas. Let's put it that way. Uh, but I'm a pizza connoisseur that's way too fat because of it. So I'm always looking for the low craft pizza. But you have to decide, do I want it's basically like a star rating on Google. Do I want to be the 4.8 star pizza place or food place? Do I want to be the 4 star pizza place, or do I want to be just somewhere to give that everybody will rate 3.7 stars and just go there for convenience? And if I close, no one will notice. Which one do I want to be? Right? That's what you're basically saying.
Right, right, and it has to fit your brand. I mean, as well. I mean, think about your campground. We've talked about what people have and who they're attracting quite a few times on this podcast. And to think about the idea of, do you have a lot of DIYers showing up? People that love to do or want to have a desire to do their own cooking. Do Dutch oven cooking. Cook chili and cornbread and a cobbler. Show them how to do it. Have lessons. Have demos. Have someone. I went to a state park in Montana where these two guys showed up and they had literally like 70 cast iron Dutch ovens, and they cooked for like 150 people on site there, and it was amazing what they did, and everybody loved it, and they were doing demos and showing people how to do it and everything, and it was just
Well, that's the other thing. Like you bring up a really good point, right? This is not always about having your own restaurant or food service place and getting your own permitting and hiring additional staff and doing everything else, right? There's all kinds of different ways you can tackle this. You mentioned one, which is food truck. Bring them in, super easy. Most people, I'm going to say this because I've been to a lot of food trucks. I think most food trucks are pretty good food.
mhm.
Like you're like these are the people who really have a passion. Like if you don't have a passion for cooking your food, like you probably are at this point either love moving around locations and love meeting new people, or you are at the point in your culinary career where you are not able to afford the full restaurant, right? Yet,
Mhm.
hopefully. But so these are people that usually have a passion for whatever kind of cooking they're doing, and they're in a narrow vertical. They're not all over the map. They have small kitchens. It's really hot in those food trucks. And like, if you just bring in one of those food trucks, they're probably almost certainly, I don't know that I've ever seen a food truck that's rated less than 4.5 stars on Google. Probably, I'm sure there is, but like most of them are really good food. And that's your path. Like, if you want to provide a different type of experience that's available to people, they're not going to be able to find the food truck downtown somewhere. So put the food truck there, put a patio, put some tables and chairs, have the food truck pull right up next to it. They can sit there and then, I don't know, serve drinks like Scott's saying, or have a dessert thing too, or like there's all kinds of paths to being able to do this. And if you don't want to do that, I'm in the middle of nowhere and I don't have a food truck. There's just no food truck here, and I can't get anybody in here. I don't want to build a restaurant. Okay, well, like, well, maybe the middle of nowhere is a bad example to give for this. This was about to come out, but like foodie tours, right? If you're in a local nearby city that has a good culinary scene, like even if it's only one or two restaurants and an ice cream shop, like, I mean, yes, this is a person that you have to hire on your staff, probably, or partner with a local foodie tour company. But there's your dinner right there. Just gather everybody up together. We're going on a foodie tour at 4 o'clock in the evening. We're going to take you down through 2 restaurants or 3 restaurants in town. You're going to meet the curators. You're going to get a discount on their food. Then we're going to take you to an ice cream shop and maybe a brewery to try the local craft brewery. We're going to take you back and then get a cut of all that stuff. And it's lots of, we haven't even got into the tech yet, guys. There's lots of creative ways that you can do this. It's all about providing the experience. And I think the problem is for, I don't want to say many. I think you did on the show last week, though. You said like 60 or 70%. But like there's a large percentage of people who are just in the campground business to be a campground, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But they got into it to be an RV park, and that's all they want to be in. They don't stick to their narrow lane. They want to do anything else. I want to do a playground. I want to do a miniature golf course. I want to do Gaga Ball. Whatever anybody else is doing at the next KOA or Ojai trade show that I'm approached to. We talked about that on MC Fireside Chats a little bit earlier about how the keeping up with the Joneses, right? And whether you fall into that trap. Like, for sure you should go to conferences, for sure you should network, for sure you should see what your peers are doing. But sometimes what your peers are doing isn't the same thing you should be doing. The way the KOA report isn't the same thing you should be listening to. But like, I think you need to have an understanding of, what do I do? How do I approach that? How does that fit within my property? How do I make it work? But there's all kinds of different ways you can do that without going with what everybody else is doing. I kind of lost my train of thought there. Does that make sense? To wrap it up, okay?
Yeah, no, I think that's a great way to end this portion of the program.
Oh, and this portion of the program. Okay, I thought you were going somewhere. All right. So let's talk about like what we ran. Let's talk about a little bit about what we ran through AI, right? So we ran through a little bit about AI, and some of this is knowledge that you've had, Scott, we've talked about on the program. Some of this is things that I've come across as we've dealt with, larger parks and smaller parks that have restaurant food service operations, have done this stuff in the past. And we want to talk about some of the things first that you can do today, right? And we will get into technology. We're not going to start there, though. But I want to set the stage by saying, like, if you look at what's available today, and I think this often gets lost. We talk about things like drone delivery, or we talk about things like self-checkout, or we talked about things like frictionless retail or agents buying things for you. And everybody's like, cool, that's in the future. No, that's happening right now. Right? So when you look at like drones and autonomy, I'm just reading a couple facts and figures that this thing pulled out at me. Like Walmart, obviously big, huge company. Yes, I understand the pushback instantly. You're not Walmart. You don't have the dollars, whatever else. Just setting the stage for the technology. Walmart is scaling drone delivery with Wing, which is a subsidiary of Alphabet, which is Google, and Zipline, which is a super cool company. If you guys haven't seen this, there's a really cool video from years ago about this company Zipline. Do you know who Mark Rober is? Really cool YouTuber, like really like sciencey guy who builds all kinds of crazy things on YouTube. And does all kinds of cool stuff like science experiments and things like that. And I think he's like I don't know. I don't want to say he worked for a rocket company because I think that was somebody else confusing it. But anyway, really smart guy. And I watched a video of him years ago. He went overseas. So this company Zipline, I probably am not going to get it 100% right, but I think started working overseas, and their whole thing was like they have drone delivery, but it's like a slingshot drone. So they have these big drones and they bring them back on this huge like launching pad, right? And then they let them go and they fly, and then they have a little engine, but they can fly like much farther that way because they kind of glide through the air. And the whole way they got started and tested their pilot was by delivering medicine to countries that had no other way to get the medicine. So they would put the medicine in, they'd slingshot these drones, they would fly for like 50 or 100 miles or whatever else, and then they would drop their little package and they would turn around and come home. And they wouldn't use that entry. So, but now they're in major metros, and their whole focus was to deliver, like they had pilots of delivering pharmacy meds and things like that. So they have some really cool prototypes. So this company's been around for years, right? Coverage now spans entire regions for Zipline, including Dallas Fort Worth. It says 75% of Dallas Fort Worth is covered by Zipline. That's interesting. We got to check that out. We might have to watch a video on Zipline later if I can find one. Expansion to 100 additional stores across Atlanta, Charlotte, Houston, Orlando, and Tampa. I don't know if they're talking about Walmart and drone delivery or Zipline. Oh, it says Walmart is scaling drone delivery with Wing and Zipline. Okay, that's the difference. So this is all about Walmart. So Walmart has drone delivery with Wing and Zipline that spans 75% of Dallas-Fort Worth. It was announced in 2024, and they are expanding to 100 additional stores across Atlanta, Charlotte, Houston, Orlando, and Tampa in 2025. That's not theory. It resets guest expectations for 15 to 30-minute delivery norms. Crazy. Absolutely. But today, right? Which means that, again, I don't know how Wing's pricing system works. I don't know how Zipline's pricing system works. I don't know if they're scaled to the point where a small business can partner with them. But this is available today. These are existing models. These are large companies that are not going to stake their reputation on something that's fly-by-night. Heavy lift drones are real infrastructure. DJI's, so a drone company that makes the little like Phantoms and things like that we've been playing around with for years. Flycart 30 that launched globally January 10th, 2024 carries up to 30 kilograms with range designed for tough terrain, relevant for remote sites and intra-park logistics. We'll have to look up some videos on this stuff. Frictionless retail is consolidating but viable. So Amazon did remove, which is interesting because I knew it was going to talk about this when we started to do the show. They had that just walk out thing, but they actually stopped the pilot of that stuff from large format fresh grocery stores in the US, and they pivoted to something called dash carts. I don't know enough about that. Yet Just Walk Out continues expanding in stadiums, campuses, and hospitals. Exactly the kind of small format, high throughput shops that mirror camp stores. Translation, pick the right format, not the headline. Agentic commerce is coming for your website. Visa and MasterCard has done this too, but Visa Intelligent Commerce open to payment rails so AI agents can search, decide, and pay on behalf of your guests. If your content and checkout are structured for them, designed for humans and agents. Campus-grade autonomy moved from novelty to scale. Starship reports 8 million autonomous deliveries. I'm not sure we'll have to look up these companies in a second.
Yeah.
Sidewalk robots and on-property bots are no longer pilot only. For large parks, this is the template for in-park last mile. So we've seen a little bit of this, right? Or at least I have. The little robots that you can put a bundle of firewood in or put like a couple of merchandise things in, and they'll just autonomously drive to whatever site you want, maps it. And then things like computer vision checkout and things like this. So what do you think about this? While I look up a couple of these videos, I think it would be interesting.
The the whole idea is, it's all about efficiency and responsiveness in a way that, people just want their stuff. That's what you want. You want your stuff. And if you can get that in the most efficient way possible, then you're going to be on board for it. I mean, to me, that's really what it boils down to. Is like, if you want, I got a UPS package today, and the driver, I went out, met her. She didn't even look at me. She gave me the package and left, which is fine. We don't have to have it's not social hour with your delivery driver. But, thinking about that, if a drone had delivered it, it would have been the same level of social interaction. And, they would have dropped it on our deck and the dogs wouldn't have barked. Well, maybe they would have. I don't know. But you see, anyway, to me, it's a matter of if you're moving stuff, it's like you want it quick, painless. You want it to arrive undamaged. That to me is kind of if you can fulfill those things easily and make it fast, it's like yeah. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you be in line for that?
How come I'm cut off here? Do you see how like you have full screen? Is that you on my side too? Like you're
Yeah,
full screen and I'm
yeah.
vertical.
I'm just pushing you out of the way. Apparently,
Unbelievable. It's all right. I'm ugly anyway. The audience is probably happy. Let's check this out real quick. I just found this on YouTube. This is a video from News, I don't know, something. So let's check this out.
Walmart is joining forces with a company called Wing to deliver.
It did this to us last week. Do you remember?
Yep,
Like,
I sure do.
upload YouTube videos. I probably should have prepped that. I don't know. We'll see if it says in a second. But so, super strange. Anyway, come on, YouTube. So, this stuff is real, right? I think is the key that I want to take people away from. These companies have been existing, they've been in place, they're doing these things. And obviously, like, I don't know how much these drones cost. It would be let's ask that. That's a good exercise. We can ask and see how much do the drones cost that are
To new heights. A delivery service is actually.
Boy, that's terrible. Like, do you think my internet is really that slow, isn't it? Anyway, I'm asking about the videos and stuff like that. So we'll go back. We'll just see if
As you're doing that, speaking of internet, I spoke with a campground owner today whose entire Wi-Fi was taken down because their dog chewed through the cable. So their entire park lost Wi-Fi today.
That's tough. How do you chew through like there's one main cable that goes to your Wi-Fi? How do you do that?
It's a small park, so for them probably.
Okay, I don't know if this is ready. I'm going to try this one more time. And then, like, the internet is normally fine for me. I feel like it's a computer problem more so than anything else on my side. But we're going to try this one more time. I'm going to quit from some of these apps and see if I can. Maybe something's hogging the internet in the background that I'm unaware of. And we can try this. Hold on 1 second. Close. I don't need OneNote backing up my computer.
And pretty soon drones will be buzzing all around the Bay Area, delivering groceries, over-the-counter meds, and also meals.
I knew it was almost a matter of time, right? Fox 15's Carla Byron shows us how the new drone delivery service will work.
Wing and Walmart are teaming up to launch drone delivery at supercenters in Tampa and Orlando. You can place an order through the Wing drone delivery app. Then you can select your delivery spot, like your driveway or backyard. You can see when your order arrives, and that's it. You can get what you need in as little as 15 minutes. Wing does operate within FAA guidelines, and their drones can deliver within 6 miles of a store.
Wing Aviation is actually the leading commercial drone delivery company in the United States.
I caught up with Wing Aviation at the 51st annual Sun and Fun Aerospace Expo in early April. The company operates out of Dallas-Fort Worth, where they make hundreds of deliveries at 18 supercenters.
In the areas where we have been operating, people love it, and they find use for it, and people come back, and they're ordering multiple times a week. And we think because it fits well in their day-to-day and how they operate, you'll see more and more of it as we're able to scale and to be in more places.
Wing is finalizing the list of stores in Florida, although they prefer densely populated areas where people rely on their personal cars, which means more traffic and longer errand times. The supercenter locations will be rolled out over the coming months and are expected to be completed by this time next year. In Tampa, Carla Byron, Fox.
That's interesting. I still haven't got an answer on how much these. What do you think about this so far? Did you? I didn't even know. I don't think I knew that this was that crazy.
I had no idea this was going on, honestly.
So here's Wing and DoorDash from 2 years ago. I don't know how much that's been going on. Wing drone delivery, everything you need to know. That's 8 minutes. We don't want to watch that. Wing Drone Delivery Network. Truth about drone deliveries from Marcus Brownlee, tech guy. So yeah, this is really interesting. This is happening. Like Walmart and Wing delivered by drone in less than 30 minutes. Let's watch this one. You hear that? I like it. What do you think, Scott? I like it.
Yeah. I mean, it makes so much more sense. I mean, when you think about like all the, especially the smaller packages, these one-offs, these things that people talk a lot about reducing your carbon footprint. I mean, this here has to have a significant impact on that. If you can start taking a high proportion of, especially these small one-off deliveries, and having drones deliver them, I mean, again, way more efficient.
Try to look up Zipline and see how Zipline delivers with platform 2. Let's try this. Well, it loaded up and then it just paused. So let's try to refresh it and see if it works. I don't know. It says it's all loaded right there. So we'll give it a second. Yeah, like I mean, I don't know how much these. The key is going to be how much these drones cost, right? Obviously, it's probably not feasible for like a 40-50 site RV park, but for sure a mega resort right now, right? Depending on your store and your offerings, and if you have a resort, things like that. And again, what type of food you're delivering, goods, services. This just makes it easier. So, like, I don't know that the drone delivery for regular goods and services would be my go-to. In the the number one thing that I would recommend to properties, especially when you have the last mile robots that we'll look at in a second and stuff like that. We've kind of already looked at drone deliveries. So go for a second. Now my computer's totally frozen up, so that's cool. So we'll see if that works. Oh, there we go. I mean, some of this stuff is really cool. Like, and that company's been going for a while. Ziplines, I think, is a much more slick example of what's possible than, not that I'm sure both companies are good, but that's just, to me, a more slick example of what's happening that's available. Like, I've seen them talk, and this has nothing to do with food or retail, but I saw years ago they did and I think it was just an animation or something where they want to go, but they talked about people-sized drones, like this company Zipline that they were going to make that can literally like lower your stretcher and you can put somebody in it and then raise your stretcher and fly you to a hospital.
What a great application for it, honestly. Living in a rural area, a lot of times life flight isn't available, just because they had some other call, you know.
Whoop, did we lose you? Oh, you cut off there for a second.
I muted my mic because the dog's barking in the
Oh,
background.
you're totally fine. All right, let's watch this DJI fly cart. I gotta, and then I'll go off camera for a second. I'll be right back. Assuming this thing plays.
Is designed for efficient car delivery to remote locations has always been difficult, inefficient, and
Come on, video. What's wrong with YouTube today? I don't know what's wrong with it. Anyway, we'll let that thing load up for a second.
perilous. Today, we bring you a brand new possibility. Introducing DJI Flycart 30, an aerial delivery drone. Flycart 30 is designed for efficient cargo transportation, carrying a max payload of 30 kilograms with dual batteries, a delivery range of 16 kilometers, and a max speed of 20 meters per second. Delivery is now simple and efficient, no longer restricted by physical geography. Flycart withstands extreme situations and handles difficult operations, allowing you to confidently deliver to harsh environments. It supports 2 payload configurations, cargo mode and winch mode, to meet varying delivery needs. Its spacious cargo case weighs the payload during the loading process to prevent overloading and ensure flight safety. Switch to the winch system if the drone's intended delivery destination does not have a safe landing site. Once the drone arrives at the destination, select the drop point with AR projection. A single tap automatically lowers the payload. When the payload touches down, the winch system releases and retracts for accurate, non-contact delivery. The winch system intelligently senses the payload and adjusts attitude quickly to counteract swinging. Even for long-range tasks, Flycart 30 is more than capable. The 20-kilometer DJI O3 transmission, coupled with 4G enhanced transmission and an FPV gimbal camera, ensure clear and stable live feeds under various operational scenarios. Flycart 30 also supports dual operator mode for one drone. Pilots in 2 different locations can transfer control of the drone with a single tap, extending the operating range even further. The aircraft is equipped with front and rear active phased array radars and a dual binocular vision system designed to accurately sense terrain with multi-directional obstacle sensing in various weather conditions, day or night. Its dual battery system features multi-level redundancy, hot swapping, and quick dual battery charging in parallel to enable continuous operations. In extreme scenarios, the integrated parachute will automatically deploy, reducing the risk of personnel injury and property damage. The DJI Pilot 2 app introduces brand new functions for delivery control. The app lets users configure alternative landing sites and record flight routes, enabling automatic repeat flights for improved.
This is perfect. Like this thing is what campgrounds need. You just saw, like, I haven't even heard what they're going to say about the app yet, but like, you saw the GPS, you could just pinpoint, like, mark all your sites and deliver to X site, right?
Yep.
This is cool.
Safety and efficiency. The newly launched cloud platform DJI Delivery Hub offers a 2.5D base map and facilitates efficient operation planning, full operation status monitoring, and centralized team resource management. Flycart 30 provides a comprehensive airborne delivery solution that is straightforward, efficient, and safe. Fly over mountains, valleys, and rivers, and ascend into a new era of aerial delivery.
They have a Flycart 100, or somebody searched for it on YouTube too. How much do you think a bundle of firewood weighs? For sure less than 30K, right? 30 kg, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. This is the only way we deliver our fire. Like, can you imagine the people who would share that shit on Instagram, Scott? Oh my God. This is the only way you can get firewood from us. You call us, you go on the chat, you do whatever, but like it's gonna get delivered to your site by a drone. Like this is gold mine stuff, right? Tell me I'm wrong.
No, this is, I mean, and we've talked about this in the past about technology and in it being these tools for you. Like, think about how much staff time you could free up to do other things like interact with people if they didn't have to deliver firewood.
$23,000. That's how much it costs.
It's like it.
Does that work? Does the math work?
I think.
Over years, right? But $23,000.
I think so. When you consider how you could again take a staff person and put their, energy somewhere else, or, I mean, honestly, if the seasonal help, the 23 grand
from nationalpress.com. Market and economic data
Hey,
are subject to variations and cannot.
What the heck?
That's a good question. Let's run. Is that your Alexa talking in that background?
Yeah, I don't even know where that came from.
It happens to me too. My thermostat talks to me all the time when I'm at home, like just randomly.
She just started
video calls usually.
Rambling on with some bullshit. I'm like, what are you talking about? Alexa, go to sleep.
DJI, what is it called? DJI Fly Cart 34 at my campground. I'm gonna have ChatGPT 5 give us a list of 20 of those, and we'll see what we get as a result of that. But I feel like there's a lot because we're talking about firewood, but like obviously anything from your store, right?
Sure,
almost
absolutely.
anything from your store. I mean, granted, there's still the staff time to go out and hook it up to the drone, I guess, but still, like the novelty, just the sheer ability for this thing to go viral on social media or to get you additional eyeballs, or I want to go stay at the drone campground. Are you fucking kidding me? Like it has to pay itself. If you're an early adopter of this, and you have 5 years to be an early adopter of this, probably. Like, if you're an early adopter of this, like this easily has to pay for itself in a year just in social media exposure.
You would be the talk of the town. You'd be the talk of the
20 practical high-tech ways. We're supposed to be talking about food and retail. I'm sorry. We're going to get back to it. We're sort of doing it, but 20 practical high-impact ways for a heavy lift utility drone like DJI Fly Cart that could pay for itself at a campground or RV resort. I've noted why it helps and the ops tip. Linen shuttle to cabin clusters. Moved bag sheets and towels from laundry to distant loops. Why it frees a staffer plus a cart during peak turnovers. Ops, cargo box, schedule top-of-hour flights, stage collapsible return totes. Great idea. I like it. Firewood repositioning to micro kiosks. Hop 50 to 100-pound bundles from a central yard to self-serve racks near loops. Cuts multiple cart runs, keeps racks full at dusk. After-hours order consolidation to locker walls. I don't know about that. Emergency AED delivery. Airdrop an AED and trauma kit to a remote trailhead or lakeside dock. That would be interesting because they talk how many kilometers they say it was going to do? 20?
Yep.
So if you have a hiking trail or a biking trail or somewhere near you, that could be like a guest service that you could offer, right?
Absolutely. And you would probably get a break on your insurance rates.
Well, forget about the AED. Like let's say you're in an area where, and you have to check your drone regulations and make sure this stuff can fly and all that stuff, right? But let's say you're anywhere draw a 20-kilometer circle. That's a pretty big circle around you, right? And if drone rules allow you to do it, like you could literally say, like, if you're out hiking on the trail that's 10 kilometers away and you decide you want a snack, you just call up the campground. We'll deliver it to you on the trail from our store.
It's number 8 on your list, by the way.
Backcountry permit. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Hey, it was my idea, man.
Yeah.
Fuck you, ChatGPT. You should have put it But still, like, that's crazy, isn't it? Like, the amount of, like, then you can sell outside your campground. What if the campground could be a central hub for the community? You go to your community and you say, like, hey, we've got a nice store here. We've got beer delivery. Well, maybe not beer delivery, but like whatever. Probably beer delivery if you convince the right city council member, right?
Right.
And then you can take everything from your store and deliver it to the nearby community too. Like, it's insane. Spare part sprint to down utilities. Storm prep, sandbag or tarps to flood prone spots. Trail or boardwalk maintenance feed. Backcountry primitive site resupply. Event setup, lights, cables, and signage to the field, and waste mini hub swap. We have 20 more, or 10 more. Life jacket and safety kit to the waterfront. Fishing and boat rental pack drops. Construction assist messenger line pulls. That's interesting. Pull a light messenger line over a creek tree line to later haul conduit or fiber. That's pretty cool. Construction assist, we already talked about that. Photography and marketing support loads. Inventory rebalancing between stores. That'd have to be a pretty big park. Tool cache deployment before peak weekends. Water delivery to dry camps. Lost and found, return to remote sites. Staff meal kit. Like, I think a lot of this is, I don't know, there's got to be better stuff for, like, what about a small private campground? Like, I feel like it's doing huge parks, right? Or provincial parks, parks, stuff like that.
One of the things I was thinking of is if they kind of alluded to it a little bit, but like if you have especially if you're a somewhat larger park, but maybe not even like you have someone doing maintenance somewhere in the park, and instead of doing having a runner back and forth, oh, I need a tool, I need whatever, I need a saw. It's like boom, it goes back and forth. So what you've done is eliminated the need for someone to be that runner, go back and forth. That kind of thing to me is like, it's super practical. And anyone who's worked in a maintenance job knows how many trips back and forth you end up taking. Just because you forget things, you want something else, or maybe you just want lunch.
Dude. I don't even know if this thing is in here. I'm not looking at it yet. Okay. It might or might not be in here. What if you could build a campground? Fuck, I keep having to move over here. Like, I get this little tiny window in Scott's. Like,
I know, it's weird, and your whole face is like within that window.
Wow. What if you could build a campground where they didn't have to park in front of their site, and the drone could bring their baggage to the site for them? That shit is cool.
And that would eliminate traffic on your campground. It would.
You wouldn't have to, unless you had RVs. You wouldn't have to fucking roads.
Right. You wouldn't have to have parking places.
Holy shit!
You buy next to the unit. Yeah.
Why is nobody doing this? This is fantastic. Okay. What do we have? Post-storm excess, steep remote supply, utility triage. You just talked about that. Horse bibs or a tool back to a tech. Trail boardwalk works. Line pull, medical drill. What to do every week in-house with a small camera drone. A Mavic class drone. Small, pays back faster, safer. Roof and gutter checks on cabins and bathhouses. Tree hazard scouting, thermal spot checks. Orthomosaic site map every quarter. Marketing reels. Wildlife and shoreline sweeps. Missing pet child protocol. That'd be interesting if you had to do that. Like, hopefully you don't have to do that. That's fantastic. I like it. This is great. Okay, what else do we have? We got to go back to our little conversation here that we had for what else is next. See all the stuff like we're never going to get to? I did so much prep for the show, Scott.
I know you were slaving away.
I was. So we have so we did frictionless retail, Amazon removed, just walk out. Agentic commerce, we've talked about that enough before on the show. Campus grade autonomy. What's Starship? So let's do Starship Campus. delivery service. Yeah, this is what it was 7 years ago. Look at 7 years ago this company's been doing this stuff. You think they're still around? Robots delivering food to your drawer 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 4 years ago, 2 years ago. Serve robotics, smart delivery robotics take over the thing. Food delivery robots at the University of Idaho. I guess 3 years ago isn't as long as I think it is, right? All right, let's just pick that guy's cool. We're just gonna watch him. He deserves
Hello,
to stay in the
UT.
spotlight.
Have you guys seen the robots around campus?
I don't know. That guy deserves his moment in the spotlight. I don't know who he is. Daily Beacon, Starship food delivery robots from 3 years ago. He only has 928 subscribers. Let's see if we can find out his name while the video is loading. Nicholas Martindale tells us more on the University of Tennessee's campus. For sure, a great place. But like these to me, these are more practical, right? Whether it's Starship or another company, to me, the ability to just have them pull up outside your store and to put them to put the groceries into the bin and then have it be like off-road. Like I saw this, I want to say 2 years ago when it was Ojai and KOA were both in Orlando for their convention during that hurricane or whatever that came through in November.
Yep.
So we went to IAPA. Like I was invited as a media person to IAPA. They gave me a free ticket and I went in there and we were like exploring. There's a company like this that did these cart things, and they said like I talked to the lady. I was like, have you ever tried to market these to campground? She's like, no, but we probably should. Like, I mean, they're 4-wheel drive and they can go off road and look at the big tires and they can balance and like they can go almost anywhere over tree branches and everything else. Like, it just makes a whole lot of sense. Again, like Instagrammable. Who the fuck is it? Who's not going to have one of these pull up to their site and be like, I'm not taking a picture of that and sharing it on social media with everybody? Everybody is. What are you doing, campground owners? You have it right in front of you. I don't know how much these cost. How much does Starship cost? Can I buy a Starship robot? Starship robot cost. I don't even know how to Google anything anymore. $5,500. In 2018, Starship claimed that its robots cost $5,500. I hope to reduce this to $2,250. I don't know. How much do you like? How much is it even like here? Starship
Campus, maybe delivering an order, crossing the street, or maybe getting into an accident. Well, today we are here to give you some more information on who the robots are and how you can access them. First step you would do is you would go on your phone, download the Starship app, and you can set up an account
and do something. Yeah, I'm on their website right now. It says they partner with Aramark and Grubhub and I don't know, a few of these other companies, delivering for the world's biggest brands.
Aramark is one of the biggest concessionaires for our national parks.
Yeah. Aramark, Bolt, Sodexo, world-leading level 4 autonomy robots. They learn with every journey. They've safely completed millions more deliveries than competitors. Our robots deliver hot food, groceries, and industrial supplies using a combination of radars, cameras, sensors, and machine learning. Does it have pricing or no? I don't know if I probably have to like 8 million deliveries and counting. You could stick a bunch of stuff in it. So there's your hot food from your store, right? Like sensor suites. This is pretty sweet. All right. What else we got? So those are two things right away, right? That you can do. That just like, I mean, even if it's not food, like I can't, like this is economical, Scott, right? Like you're the data guy. Like the drone is a little bit more of a stretch, but if that thing really is less than $5,500, as was priced, Wikipedia says it was $5,500 in 2018. What the fuck? Like that's just a social media gold mine waiting to happen, isn't it?
Absolutely, and it's practical. That's I think people should understand that it's super practical. Again, that little thing could deliver your firewood, beer, whatever as well. It's like it could deliver food, any kind of food you have, let them order and pop it in that little thing, and boom, take it out to the site. Beer, ice, firewood, hot dogs, and French fries. It's like it would be a workhorse. It would totally be a workhorse for you. And again, the attention you would get would be unbelievable.
Okay, are you ready?
Yep.
Okay. What you can deploy now, 0 to 90 days, menu moves. So we've got A, micro kitchen and pop-up food program, Ghost Kitchen Lite. If you've not heard of Ghost Kitchens, this is, I think, actually a company. It was created by one of the founders of Uber, called Ghost Kitchens. I don't know if it still exists. I think it does. But it was basically like it was running during the pandemic, but it was basically like a place where they cook all the food, but there's no like restaurant. So you cook the food and then you have it delivered by DoorDash or Uber Eats or something like that, right? But concept, convert a 200 to 400 square foot space or trailer into a limited menu, high margin operation. Bowls, flatbreads, smash burgers, barbecue kits, and breakfast burritos. The tech stack, simple line, QR ordering to kiosks and phones, smart food pickup lockers for order handoff or drones, locker systems, and then it gives you a couple examples, integrate with QR or SMS and keep lines invisible. Why lockers instead of a counter? Faster throughput, zero crowding, fewer handoff errors, heated pass-through models exist for hot hold, cost and specs are public, ordering rails, toast kiosks, square kiosks, or Olo for consolidated marketplace orders, tap to pay on iPhone lets roving staff take contactless payments with no extra hardware, conversation starter, if you remove the line, what percentage of guests who never waited before will finally buy? Devil's advocate, ghost kitchen roll-ups flamed out in cities. Why will this work here? Answer is predictable, peak windows, captive demand, tiny SKU set, no delivery driver chaos. So this is number one. This is what you're talking about with your limited menu, right? Hot limited menu, high margin, bowls, flatbreads, smash burgers, barbecue kits, breakfast burritos, s'more kits, insert whatever else, right? Put into a locker, set up QR code ordering, have a staff member who's working behind the front desk already, probably, like be able to put these things into lockers. Like obviously if it's food service, you'd have to do something different, right? You have to have another person probably.
Right.
But yeah, no line, order from your campground or a chatbot or call and talk to an AI and have it do it. I like it. What do you like? What do you think?
Yeah. Again, this is how people want to order. This is how they want it. It's like kind of the contactless stuff too is important. But you know what people want to do? They want to spend more time like at their campsite or doing the things they want to do. They want to be sitting around the fire and socialize and drinking beer or whatever they prefer. If it was me, I'd be having a beer. But you know what I mean? It's like that's what you want to do. That's what you want to be doing. You don't want to be standing for 20 minutes in a line for something and the food just shows up for you. It's like conversation never stops. You're doing your thing. Maybe you're playing games. Maybe you're playing cornhole or whatever, It's like this takes, we always talk about the tools that allow the park owner, manager, and the staff to free up more time to do other stuff. We're going to free up the guest to do other stuff that they want to do. That's what I see some of this doing. It's like allowing them, boom, it's off your phone, deliver it to our campsite. We're just hanging out.
And you're going to sell more. You're going to sell more stuff because it's more convenient.
Absolutely. That's the thing too. Exactly. People will order more. There is zero doubt about that.
Okay, computer vision checkout for the camp store. Use case, drinks, s'mores kits, ice, firewood, sundries, grab and go. What to deploy? Mash Gin kiosks at small footprint stores. We got to look up Mash Gin kiosks. Hold on.
Pretty darn reliable. Just crossed 100.
You lost it. You ruined it. Mash Gin kiosks. The Mash Gin effect. Kiosk 101, Mash Gin assist. That's too long.
Touchless self-checkout, it says.
How does Matchless Self change the checkout experience at Delic? All right, well, we'll just watch this. This is 30 seconds. please. How much do one of those things cost? Mash Gin self-checkout price. Oh God, it's going to be an AI overview from Google. I don't know if I trust these things. No way. Oh, $1,000 per month. I was like $1,000? No way. I'm going to buy one for my house and do something with it. $1,000 per unit per month. Still, like, I'm sure that they're like, if you're replacing a store employee's time, $1,000 per unit per month is a no-brainer, right?
I think you'd make up for that just in sheer volume in short
This monthly fee covers the lease of the system, and the number of units needed varies based on the size and layout of the retail space. MashGen, the world's fastest AI checkout. Here's their website. Eliminate the checkout line. Computer vision technology delights customers. It's being used by a bunch of these people who you can see. Kansas City Chiefs, Houston Texans, Denver Broncos, Cleveland Cavaliers. Yeah. AI-powered checkout will transform your operations. 1 billion transactions, 40 million monthly users. They're in 4,000 locations. Need we continue to say this more? It's here today. This is not the future. You just think it's the future because you've been running your campground and you don't, like we talked about in the beginning, right? Like you only have a certain amount of time, but like it's right there. Right in front of you. $1,000 a month. Forget the staff to check all this stuff out. And I know what the campground owners are going to say, right? Like the honor system or whatever, will people just walk out with it? I don't know that they will. Especially
Most
if you have somebody still there.
I think very few would do that.
Yeah, I think very few. All right, so MashGen, super cool example there. Small footprint stores or camera grid walk-in, walk-out for higher volume. Zip-in AI-Fi, if you're a stadium scale park, which you're probably not. MashGen has documented 18.7 second median transaction times in C-store pilots. Stadium frictionless formats report double-digit sales lifts with throughput. For sure. I mean, fuck. Like imagine just one of these with like a little. Imagine getting. We talked about those carts that you drag to different places in the campground, right? Imagine one of those paired with one of these just right next to each other, or sitting in the corner of your pool, right? Like here's a little cooler with icy cold beverage refreshments. Just pull it out, scan it, and take it. Like the amount of places that you can add sales to your property through something like this, yes, it's $1,000 a unit. Will you sell $1,000 per unit per month of stuff at your pool? I don't know. Depends on if you have a liquor license, I guess, and they can take cans of beer away, right? Or whatever else. Or it's high margin soda or soft drinks or stuff like that. But door design note: put the kiosk at the door with an obvious in-out loop. On property last mile, bots, lockers, and bikes. Start with what's legal and reliable. Sidewalk delivery robots service roads and paths to smart lockers or doorstep for premium cabins. Starship proves the operating model at scale. Serve and others are expanding city coverage. For parks, private property plus low speeds equals the friendliest environment. Conversation starter: do guests value a 15-minute pizza drop more than a 5-minute line? What would you pay? And you can charge a delivery fee too. My face is probably really big, but it's small also, right? Like I feel like I'm way too big.
Right. Yeah. You're filling up the screen. That's all right.
Oh my God, you could charge a delivery fee too. Who's gonna balk at a delivery fee when a fucking drone drops off their shit in the yard? It's completely unfair that they charge me a delivery fee for the drone. Who's gonna write that in the Google review? Like that, I don't know. Farm to campfire, showable freshness you can charge for. Installable amenity, micro farms for greens and herbs. Babylon micro farms cabinets. Let's look at these. Babylon micro farms cabinets. What would we do without YouTube? Xavier dining time lapse. Okay.
That's a cool idea. People would love that if you had that on site, especially off season. You know, you go in there and they're actually growing their greens, their lettuce and stuff right there. That you can harvest and have for yourself. It's like people would eat that up.
The way we look at the farm today is you have cartridges in the base, a little bit like a printer, and you plug in those cartridges of nutrients, and then the farm will automatically dose the water reservoir, which fills itself automatically. Then we ship consumables to the client. So that's the cartridges of nutrients, and it's the pre-seeded pods. So a little bit like a Keurig. You pop them in, you scan the barcode, and then the farm knows what to grow. To run a hydroponic system, you have to control the solution the plants are grown in. So that's nutrients, pH, irrigation cycles, and dissolved oxygen. So we remotely control those, and those variables can be different for each type of crop and for each stage of growth. So we have to adjust those throughout the growth cycle, and that's part of the learning experience that we've kind of cut out of the process. And then you have the environment that the crops are grown in. So we're controlling the ventilation and making sure that we have visibility on how the crops are growing. So doing all of that remotely just removes a huge kind of learning barrier that a lot of people face.
Like, I've had one of these. So I've had these for years. I don't have one in my house currently because I'm trying to get another company that maybe works a little bit better. But I had so there's a company called Garden, Gardyn, and there's a company called Rise Gardens are the two that I've done. And they're little hydroponic systems like this that do kind of similar to what they're saying, right? They're for your house. I don't know what the legalities around this is, but I'm sure if it was some kind of shared community garden, where you just plant this, imagine having 6 of them lined up next to each other, and they're growing lettuce and oregano and radishes and whatever else, right? Strawberries, I know Garden does, Gardyn, a bunch of stuff. And then you just say it's included in your stay. Go pick whatever you'd like to pick for your dinner. Fresh greens, fresh oregano, make whatever you want in your RV, cook it over your campfire. If you're interested, then here's a chat bot or a phone agent that you can call that has recipe ideas for the things that you're picking from our garden. Be mindful of our other guests, be respectful that everybody needs something, right? And if you just rotate this shit out, you put them all on wheels, you roll out 5 of them and have a bunch of plants, and then there's a bunch in the back room that are growing more that you rotate out. They take weeks to kind of grow, but then they regrow. The fuck? Again, social media sharing, a reason for people to come, a different type of experience. These are not expensive to do. They're not super cheap, but it's I think it's I don't know, maybe $5 or $10 for a plant root, and you can buy your own seeds and you can put them in there too. So you just go buy a $2 packet of seeds, and then you just have to buy the chemicals or whatever to go in the water. It auto waters, it regrows all the plants, the sunlight turns on and off. We're fucking killing it, Scott. Yeah, we're killing it for people. If you don't have a unique campground food experience after the show, I don't know, Scott. What do you think?
There's so much you can do. It's pick one, pick anything.
Payment that goes anywhere your guests are. You're going to say something? Go ahead.
Oh no, I was done.
Payment that goes anywhere your guests are. Tap to pay on iPhone. Staff smells s'mores kits at the amphitheater. Yoga passes on the lawn. Kayak rentals at the dock. No terminals. For sure. Absolutely. 100%. Business math. No fairy dust. Kiosk ROI, fast math. All right, we don't necessarily 100% trust GPT's math all the time, so take that with a grain of salt. Kiosk ROI, fast math. Inputs, hardware, $1,000 to $3,000 each, plus software, $40 to $80 a month. Upsell lift and labor redeploy. Rule of thumb: if a kiosk handles 20 orders an hour for 4 peak hours times 2 days, plus weekday use, and lifts AOV 10 to 20%, average order volume, right? You typically cover OPEX in weeks and CAPEX in 6 to 12 months, even faster if labor is tight. Is that believable?
Yeah, if you push that amount of volume, That's what it's all about.
I think most 100+ site parks could do that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, because once it catches on, everybody, and especially the summertime, you think about it, it's like every.
Then you're also gonna get the people on social media because you're gonna fill up your fucking park with people who are like, I want to go to the campground that has the drone delivery or the robot cart delivery or the greens in their office that I can just go pick fresh greens. I don't know, man. I don't know. I really want to buy a campground, Scott. Let's buy a campground. We keep talking about it. Locker ROI. Heated ambient pods reduce handoff labor plus remake costs and unlock late night sales. There you go. Fully unattended pickup at $10,000 to $14,000 per heated pod. A few hundred orders a month, which would be a high margin, right? But at $1 or $2 order margin, recovery can pay back quickly, plus intangible NPS from no line. And again, the social media sharing of all that stuff. Hey, I just went to a campground and I didn't have to wait in line. I just picked, but that's less of a social share, right? But still. Microfarm ROI. Babylon cabinet equals high impact theater. Like imagine just walking into the office and there's just plants lined up all along the wall. Like the green space that's inside, right?
Yep.
Plus real yield for salads and cocktails. It saves you money at if you have other food service too, and for like if you want to end up opening a bar with your own cocktails. Freight Farms container adds real volume for larger food and beverage. The payback is a blend of ingredient savings, premium pricing, programming, tours and classes. You could give tours and classes. You could probably cut a deal with the companies like Garden to say like I got 100 and some people coming in every night to check in and check out. They're all going to see your system. I could resell it for a commission for you, right?
Yep.
Like a referral affiliate program, or just give me them for free, and I'll make sure that everybody knows they're a Garden system. Bot ROI. Start with one robot on fixed routes plus delivery fee, $2 to $4 during peak windows. There's your delivery fee. That's how you pay back that, right? If the bot replaces 1 to 2 runners per shift and adds incremental transactions from convenience, it can pencil, especially when paired with lockers as reliable endpoints. Starship's millions of deliveries prove volume reliability. You're exploiting a simpler environment than a city street. Park size playbook. Small parks less than 100 sites. 1 to 2 toaster square kiosks at the camp store. 1 heated locker bank for pickup and late night orders. Tap to pay on iPhone, roving staff at pool events, because let's be honest, like if this thing would keep stuff heated, you could have like, I wonder how they work. Like, does it keep it warm or will it actually warm it up would be interesting. Or to even have a microwave built into the locker so you could just give the cold sub and pull it out and they could just pop it in the microwave right next to them.
Mm-hmm.
But you could have 24/7 like hot food available to people, right? Midnight snackers.
Oh yeah.
Tap to pay on iPhone, roving staff at pool events. Menu 12 SKUs max, sell campfire meal kits and breakfast bags. Mid-size 100 to 300 sites. All of the above plus mash gin kiosk for drinks and snacks to blow up lines at peak. Micro farm cabinet visible to guests. 1 delivery robot for premium cabin cluster deliveries. 4 to 8 fixed drop points. And then a large resort is frictionless micro store near the pool complex or amphitheater. We didn't look up one of these, right?
This idea, by the way, just to go back up ever so slightly, one delivery robot for premium cabin cluster deliveries. This is something that I've talked about, not this specifically, but the idea of what's glamping and how to take your park to kind of the next level of kind of service and so on. And one of the points I make is like, if you're just providing the cabin and kind of nothing else in terms of service, then you're just a campground with cabins or accommodations. But if you start adding stuff like this as a perk for your sites, now all of a sudden you're elevating your profile and your expectations. And you can actually charge a higher nightly rate for that because you're going to offer this service. Or a delivery fee, either one. I'm just saying that it kind of helps you up your game a little bit for those deluxe cabin guests.
All right, I don't know what this is, so we're going to watch it.
Enables you to run your own unintended storefront anywhere, at any
It always wants to just leave us teasing. Isn't it funny how it just starts for like half a
the
second?
same place every time.
Yeah. It's like it doesn't trigger or something, or maybe it has it preloaded when you hover over the link. Anyway, well, wait. I don't know if this Livello is the same company, but I was looking. I don't want to go back, but it said there was something in Billings, Montana, that said like a vending machine only store has opened. Like smart vending machines too. Like if you can run the lockers that are heated, you for sure can run vending machines that have all kinds of shit inside them.
I know at at O'Hare Airport, there's self-service beer purchases too. There's an area where you can just kind of go and self-serve beer.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, cool. I don't want to. Most of the places are full. I don't want to hang out there anyway. And yeah, stuff like
I don't know
that.
how licensing for this stuff works, but I still remember we went to Slovenia in May of last year or something like that. And the most coolest experience, this tiny fucking town in the middle of nowhere, like a couple thousand people, right? But the super small town in the middle of Slovenia. We go to this place, and there's a park where you can, like, there's a little, like, almost like a national park, like, building or something like that, right? It's a public park. It's within the city. But so you go up and you pay a guy like €5, and he gives you a glass, and you get to keep the glass for €5. Like it's a little, almost half a pint beer glass or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then you turn around and you go into the park, and there's a spiral set up in the middle of the park, and it has like draft beer, like 5 different draft beers, and you just go and you fill up your little thing, and you just drink in the middle of the park, and you get one fill, like you get one fill per thing. You're supposed to, like, it's an honor system a little bit, right? But it's all automatic. Like you just stick your mug under there, and then it like drops down and it fills up exactly to the top of the cup, so you don't have to worry about stopping and starting or anything like that. And they're all fed underground, and all the like kegs are, I don't know, accessed somehow. But I don't know what the permitting would look like for something like that in America. Probably not pretty. But I don't know. We would have to wait for them to cut regular. Or what did it do? It just stopped sharing. It started to play the video and then it stopped sharing. So hold on, let me go back. Because like it cut me off out of the guest thing. Let me refresh and come back and do the stream on my laptop. But yeah, there's just so many different things that you can use that kind of stuff for. Like next generation of vending. Hopefully this is interesting. All right, can you see that? All right, cool.
Livello enables you to run your own unattended storefront anywhere, at any time. The smart kiosk is ideal for offices, hotels, schools, hospitals, events, trade shows, or apartment buildings. This new retail channel can be set up wherever your customers are, at the point of consumption, to provide more reach and accessibility. Designed as an innovative catering solution to sell fresh and healthy food. The customer experience is seamless. Cashless access via Apple Pay, Google Pay, debit card, credit card, NFC card, or with your own white label app. Each withdrawn product is automatically detected by a patent sensor technology and added to your shopping cart. Just like in any store, products can be checked and also returned before buying. After closing the door, all removed items are automatically charged. Setting up new products and replenishing the kiosk is done quickly, and the data is automatically transferred to the cloud. The Livello software provides a control and management system to gain valuable insights.
All right, super cool, right? What do you think of that?
That to me is, yeah, you're talking about the kind of the midnight munchy person. That's perfect. But also, again, even if you have a fully developed on-site food offering, something like this lets people kind of do it at their leisure. It's healthy. It's something different. You don't have to worry about it nearly as much. Self-serve. It doesn't have to be staffed.
I would put it all like in my store. Like I'd put all my milk in here and little like whatever, right? Whatever I'm selling. All right, we only got a couple minutes left. I just realized, but menu engineering and camp-specific productization, bundles that sell themselves, s'mores plus, breakfast basics, barbecue for two, trail lunchbox, first night arrivals bag, smart fire ring kits, color-coded pouches, proteins, vegetables, and starches, QR to short video, Meter or Weber smart temp prompts. Peak hour strategy, push pre-commit upsells at 2 to 4 p.m. Lockers reserve slot plus discount, smoothing the 6 to 8 p.m. crush. Operations automations you can buy today. Kitchen robots, fry and grill runners. Investigate Misa Robotics. They have these arms. So cool. These arms that you can train to do anything, but like that specifically will flip burgers, or like you can buy kiosks that will do coffee. Like, so put a little coffee stand in I think those are like pretty expensive, but like, I mean, my God, if you have a big enough property, like everybody will put that all over Instagram too. You get the general public in here doing some of this stuff, depending on where you're at, right? Dining room runners and bussers, Bear Robotics. This is for bigger stuff. Floor care, autonomous scrubbers, free hours weekly for sure. Keep your floor clean all the time, right? Schedule after the pool close. Inventory price book sanity. Guest psychology, nudge, don't nag. Swap, please visit the store with unlock your alley-oo. Time boxed rewards, order by 4 p.m. Personalization without creepiness. If they scan the trail map QR code, push the trail lunchbox suggestion that fits the hike length. There you go. Agent readiness checklist. We already talked about that before. Structured menus and SKUs, booking and checkout. You need APIs. You need to design your websites like this, or get a software that does the same thing. Pilot blueprints. Contrarian plays. Staff shortages mean we can't expand food and beverage. Flip it to lockers and kiosks and a runner bot mean you can run one cook and one stager at peaks. Our guests love the store line. Who's saying that? Who's saying that? They tolerate it. Your line is suppressing demand from introverts, neurodivergent guests, and parents with toddlers. Drones and robots are too futuristic for campers. Sam's Club normalized computer vision exits for everyday people. 23% faster exits at national scale. The UX is mainstream. Your brand adds outdoor charm. Conversation starters and hot takes. Can drones beat golf carts on guest delight per dollar? Yup. What do you think?
Yeah, I like it.
Is cashierless retail actually about speed or about shrink? Stadium data suggests both, more sales and less leakage. Will agents kill Instagram marketing? If Visa-enabled agents buy your s'mores kit at 3 p.m. because weather shifted the agenda, who needs a reel? Also true. Vertical farms, produce programming, or PR. Walk through a 3-column ROI, ingredient savings, experiences, ESG. Is the camp store a store or an API? That's a good question. Is your website? Same thing. Crisp product examples, drones, frictionless smart lockers. If you're watching this on a podcast, you just go on YouTube, you can pause and see kind of stuff we're doing. Design patterns that print money. Event anchored pre-orders. Every movie night or live music block gets pre-order windows and locker pickup slots. Push guests at noon via SMS. You could do all the things with your movie nights and events, and yeah. Chef's route on the bots. A bot that stops at 5 iconic spots. Pool, sports court, splash pad on a loop with a now serving beacon. Fuck yeah. Queue is a feature once. Do one artisan line for nostalgia. Everything else goes locker kiosk. Merch on demand, simple DTF laser personalization in the store. Take orders via QR, pick up in locker after the show. The future in 12 to 36 months. In-park airdrops. Locker grids plus BVLOS waivers will enable drone drops to key nodes, weather permitting. Agent-led sales. Guests will ask their AI, what can I eat at site B12 at 7:15? And agent will buy. If your menu and rules are structured, you win. Fully staff optional windows. Night market powered by vision checkout, lockers, and 2 runners. And dynamic micro store. This is all shit you can do today. We didn't even get to the future, Scott. Risk and reality checks. Say the quiet parts. Segment-specific plays so it resonates. Glamping and premium cabins, high-margin chef kits, cocktail herb harvest. Is it herb or herb? It's herb, right?
I say herb, but...
Locker white glove drop. RV overnighters, 15-minute essential packs, ice, firewood, water, ready-to-heat meals. Imagine the people who have to haul bags of ice back. that don't have the strength to do that.
You know what? The overnighter package, I think, is brilliant. That is something everyone should think about right there. The overnighter package. People come in, they don't want to set up, they want to have something really convenient. Boom, in and out. The person will never forget that. They'll never forget it.
Families pre-order bundles that time shift chaos, breakfast boxes and s'mores theater, remote workers and snowbirds, weekly produce from the microfirm. That's a fucking, you want to attract work campers? You want to attract fucking people who wouldn't, like, you have staff issues? The work campers go everywhere. Like, the work campers can go free microfarm and greens, and if you work here, then you get to take as much as you want, right?
Yep.
Show ready debate prompts. Do you even need a counter? Make the whole store a kiosk or camera. We don't have time to debate. So 1-page action plan. Pick one peak to fix. Install one kiosk and heated locker. Blah, 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 blah. Handpick high signal references. Bonus sample mic drops. How to use this package. Okay. And then we have all this shit where I ask it to expand on it because I didn't think it was enough, Scott.